What is going on, everybody? Good morning. It is Thursday on the way to work. And I was thinking about something this morning, job wise, for people. How important is your job? What do you do? What do you contribute? And I got to be honest with you, I was thinking about it. A lot of people's jobs, careers, whatever they're doing, when the world shifts into chaos, when the economies around the world collapse, do you think a lot of people's jobs are going to be essential? Use a word that they used back in 2020. Do you think a lot of these jobs are going to be around when the economy goes to crap? And I mean, like, people work at McDonald's. There are farmers, sure. There's police, sure. Some of the jobs I feel are more essential than others. Not by the government standards, because the government standards are the ABC stores should stay open, but the small mom and pop shop should close. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that you can produce. If you grow food, or if you are a blacksmith, or things like that. Like I make soap. Like, soap is something that people need to have. Taking the garbage out, the garbage man, that is a pretty essential thing. I don't know if you've ever seen California and what happens when trash builds up. Diseases start spreading. Getting your septic flushed, things like that. Those are pretty essential. But a majority of the things around here, if it gets super bad, they might not be essential. Like working at McDonald's, or the extra staff at a hotel, or things like that. They might be essential to you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about for your community, for your country. Like, when our economy shrinks so bad and nobody can afford anything because everything is $1 bazillion, people are going to be more, what's the word, frugal with their money, or not as frugal. People are going to hold on to their money a lot more. They're not going to be buying the extra stuff. They're not going to be worried about paying somebody to come and do it. They're going to shrink down. The smart ones are, anyway. And then the people that aren't so smart are just going to blow their money on stuff and then wonder why they're in such a terrible hole, like they do now anyway. So, the dumb people will weed themselves out, I guess. But what I'm getting at is, for you and your family, you need to learn to have a skill that is not easily something that you can do that other people can't, or something that is needed a lot in your community, like growing food. Like, the more people that grow food, the better. That's for any society, any town, any whatever. But does your town have a local blacksmith? And do you like blacksmithing? Maybe you should learn how to blacksmith. So when solar flares happen and the economy shuts down and people need things blacksmith, there's no electricity, you can be the one that does it. Just an idea for people, man. Like, you need to learn a valuable skill that you can use for a currency that you could trade. The bartering system wasn't just this item for this item. It was skills for items and items for skills. And if you know a valuable skill, just think of anything that they did back in like the 1700s or 1800s, things that needed to be done, and people that were proficient at it. They tended to be, ahead of the game. They tended to be a little bit better off than everybody else because they knew how to do something. Example would be like a doctor. Like, look how much information a doctor has to know to get things right. An ethical doctor. Look how much things they need to know, how much school they have to do to be a doctor. Like, there's a reason they get paid better than everybody. It's because they have a boatload of school that they have to do. They have to do all kinds of things. Same things with lawyers. I know a lot of people don't like lawyers, but they get paid really well because of all the stuff that they had to put into it. It's why a mechanic charges $100 an hour or $150 an hour. Some less, some more, but you get what you pay for. It's because all the work and all the tools that they had to put into their craft. You get what you pay for. You buy cheap things, you get cheap stuff. It breaks down on you. You buy high quality stuff, you get good stuff, it lasts you a long time. That's common sense. But you need a valuable skill. You need a skill that is going to last your lifetime, that people are going to have. And you need to be able to recreate that skill. Just imagine no electricity. If you're a welder, there's no electricity. We need welders. We'll always need welders. Blacksmithing, there's a type of welding in that. Say the power does go down. If you learn to blacksmith, you can still help people. Things like that, dude, are going to be needed. If you know how to cook and can, you can teach people. There is 1,000,001 ways to make money right now. Working for yourself. People teaching online all the time. How to do this. How to do A, B, C, everything. There's a teacher for literally everything online. Now, depending on the one you find will determine how good of a teacher you get. If you go and spend $20 on a class, it might not be the best class, but you go and pay $80 or $100 for a class, same class, you might get a little bit more information. You know what I mean? So again, you get what you pay for. And I suggest everybody invest in themselves, in a skill. Learn to sew, learn to crochet, learn to be a farmhand. We are going to need these skills soon. We're going to need people that understand how to do things. And you look online, dude, 90% of the people online that I see, even the people that I watch, like a lot of the homesteading people, some of them are really, really good and they do what they say and they're living that life. And that's what I want. That's who I want to learn from. But a lot of the people that I see online, and I don't have a Facebook anymore, but just like in general as a whole, these influencing people, like there's so many people that have been caught saying, oh, I'm on vacation, and they have a green screen behind them. You know what I mean? And they're preppers that all they're doing is scaring people and pushing products. That, like, those people don't have a skill. The only skill that they have is, charismatic, and they can talk really well and they can sell you on things. Like, that's the people that we need to stay away from, because you're not learning any valuable information. There's channels that I watch that don't even talk. They just literally show you how to do stuff. There's a dude that, like, a bushcraft guy, I can't remember the name of it, primitive something technology, I think, primitive technology. Some dude in Not Australia. I think he's in New Zealand. And he doesn't talk. He just shows you how to build stuff out of mud and dirt and stuff. Like, those are cool to do. You know, that interests me. That shows me a skill. You literally don't need any tools, man. He uses a rock and he, creates iron. Like, we need to learn that stuff, and you need to put it to practice. You can't just read a book and say, hey, I know this. You can't just watch a video on how to bake bread, and then when you go to the kitchen, you can't remember. You don't have any real world experience. You don't have any hands-on experience with whatever. You need to get your hands dirty. You need to, bust your knuckles up, and you need to learn how to do things and get it right. Because when you get stuff wrong, when the grid goes down and when the economy collapses, when you get things wrong, then you die. There's no whoopsie, there's no mulligan, there's no, let me try again next week. I remember one time, man, it's probably been like 8 or 9 years ago. Me and my brother went camping, and this is just one of the times we went camping when something bad happened. And we went down there. We didn't really think about it. We brought like a jar of peanut butter and, I don't know, some crackers, a couple other things. And that was it. We went camping. We ate all our peanut butter. And we found a little creek, and we found crawdads. And we ended up boiling them in a tin can that we had. We had some, I can't remember what it was. There's something in a tin can that we had. Maybe some beef stew or something. And we spent the night there. And we ate those. But we were like really hungry on the way back because it was a steep ass climb out of there. I can't remember what the place was called. It was up on the Appalachian Trail. But it was like, it was really, really steep, man. And I overpacked the bag with a bunch of crap that I don't need. That's another thing you need to learn. Having a bug out bag and a camping bag and stuff like that, don't make it 100 pounds. Don't make it 80 pounds. Make it like bare minimum what you need, but just enough over to where you're comfortable, depending on your location, I guess. But, that was one of my mess ups then. I had an extremely heavy ass pack with all kinds of different things that I didn't even touch that night. And by the time we got up to it, we were hiking back down. It was a couple miles. I was freaking starving, dude, about to pass out. Not used to hiking like that. Didn't have any water left. Was that 2 nights there? It might have been 2 nights that we stayed there, and that's why it was so crappy. But anyway, when we come back up to the road, up on Skyline Drive, we're walking down. We finally get service back. And my ex's mom, we got a hold of her, and she brought us freaking McDonald's. And that was the best food I've ever eaten in my life. Because I was so freaking hungry, so thirsty from, hiking for hours with a heavy ass bag. But I wasn't prepared for it. And say I didn't have a house to go back to. Say I had to hike the entire way back. It would have been a couple-day hike with all that crap that I had on me. And if, Cassie didn't show up with a bunch of food for us, what would have happened? What would have happened? You know what I mean? Like if we had a couple-day hike. Another time we went camping, a stupid idea in the middle of wintertime, is me and like 3 or 4 other people went up there up the trail, and we didn't really build a shelter. We kind of just threw a tarp up, and we all slept under it. Stupid idea, with some sleeping bags. Fire was keeping us warm a little bit. It got cold that night, man. It got down to, I don't know, our water froze. I know I peed in a water bottle and I held it up against my face to keep warm that night. I know when we woke up, one of the dudes that was with us, when we got the fire started the next morning, he put his feet near the fire and his socks started to melt because he couldn't feel, how close he was to the fire. My fillings in my teeth hurt so bad. I feel like they were about to crack. My bones, like my bones in my body, were ice cold, dude. They hurt. My entire body hurt. What would happen if you had to do something like that and you weren't prepared and you were too stupid like we were back when we were kids? If you're not prepared for something, if you don't know the experience, if you don't learn how to do things the proper way now, and later on when the world goes to crap and you don't have anything to fall back to. Luckily that time, we hiked out of there, took a couple hour hike back home, and I took a warm bath and I slowly warmed my body back up. But what happens if I didn't have that? What happens if somebody got frostbite? Things happen so quick out in the woods. Things happen so quick, and we were so accustomed to having electricity. People freak out when the toilet overflows. They don't know what to do. You need to learn skills. Like right now, you need to learn rational skills that you can help people with, that you can use as a commodity, that you can use as, resources that you can trade with. Because the way I see the world going, and you can call it whatever it is, like I could see more and more every day. I see more and more us leaning to some kind of freaking wasteland because humans are too stupid to get along. I can see some crazy thing going on where the power goes out for weeks or months or possibly even years. I can honestly see that, man. And if electricity goes down, most of our food sources go away too, because we use a lot of electronics for our food to grow. We use electronics to clean our water systems, to have water in the first place. We use electricity for damn near everything in this country. From logistics for shipping to get your stuff, to get your Amazon Prime 2 days later. How many electronics go into that? From pumping your fuel to paying the driver, just picking this, sourcing whatever it is. When electronics go away, the entire world is at a standstill. Everything goes away. Your medicine, your food, your water, your housing, everything. Electricity, heat, literally everything. And if you do not have a skill to pay for certain things, you're not going to make it. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for your children, do it for your family. Learn a valuable skill now. And other than that, just keep praying. Save your money. Get a piece of land. Get away from all the crazy people. Stop being influenced by worldly stuff. Stop watching the Kardashians. Stop watching all this stupid stuff. Get away from chemicals. Other than that, man, I don't know. Just something I had in my mind this morning. I figured I'd share it with everybody. Y'all have a great day.